Hello everyone, welcome to Farmer Code Plus HTML tutorial. On today's topic, we'll be talking about HTML headings, paragraphs, and text formatting tag. So our learning objective is simple, is to understand the HTML headings and paragraph, to use heading tags correctly, and to create paragraphs in HTML, and also to format text using HTML tags. But before that, let's have a little recap of what we learned from the previous lesson. From the previous lesson, we learned that HTML means hypertext markup language. It uses tags to define elements, and it structures the content on the website. So let's go over to HTML heading. So the headings is defined by H1 to H6 tag. The H1 it defines the most important heading, while the H6 defines the least important heading. They are used for titles and subtitles. They're used to help organize your content, and to improve readability and search engine optimization, SEO. HTML paragraphs are defined with the paragraph tag. It has an opening and a closing tag. We will see this in real time when we begin practicing. There's something called the HTML horizontal rules. So this defines a thematic break in a HTML page. It is often displayed as horizontal rule. It is used to separate content or define a change in an HTML page. It is an empty tag, which means it doesn't have a closing tag. We'll see this in real time when we go over to the practice section. Okay, this is HTML line break. So it defines a line break, and it's defined by the VR, that's the break tag, and it is used when you want a line break without starting a new paragraph. When we go back to the practice section, you will see how this plays out. So in this section, we're going to be learning about the text formatting tags. The text formatting tag is used to style and emphasize text. It is used to improve meaning and clarity. And these are some of the text formatting tags. We have the bold, the strong, the italic, the emphasized text. We also have underline, small, a mark for highlighted text, delete for deleted text, and inserted. Okay, let's go over to our practice area section where we are going to see everything play out and being wrapped up together. Let's go. Okay, so first of all, we are going to create our file. So I'm just going to name it as heading.html. Okay, so this is blank. Remember the shortcuts we had from the previous class: Shift, Enter, and then we have our basic structure. So the title of this website, we're going to name it my first web page. Okay, I'll open up my live server so that everything I'm doing will automatically show up in my browser. So okay, my live server is here. Go live. Okay, so my live server is up and running. So since we learned about paragraphs and heading and text formatting tags, so let's practice some of them. So I'll use my H1 tag, and I will name this as welcome to my web page. Okay, I'll save this. Always save, Ctrl S. So let me show you how this will be on the live server on my browser. Okay, as you can see, it's showing welcome to my server. And I also want you to take note of the title page. It's saying my first web page. So let's continue coding. So this is me using the heading H1. So let's continue coding. Okay, we'll go ahead to add more H1. This is like the big welcome to my web page. So let me add a H2, and let me use let this section be about me. I'll save that, and then I'll add some paragraph. Let's just see this. Let's do some little introduction. My name is Joshua. I am currently, this is me just trying to add some text, learning web development. So I'm going to use the strong tag. So this is strong, opening tag, strong. I closed it. VS Code automatically gives you the closing tag. So I want the web development to be in the strong, as a content in the strong tag. So this is, I'm currently learning web development on let's use the emphasis tag on farmer code plus YouTube channels. Okay, let's save this and see what it looks like. We've used our H1, H2, and then some paragraph. We are trying to wrap everything up together to put them together. So let's see how it's going to look like in the live server. Okay, as you can see, the H1 is bigger. Welcome to my web page. And then there's a little error here. Instead of, it's supposed to be about me, so I'll just correct it, a typical error. Okay, let me correct this typical errors. Okay, as you can see, I've corrected it. So this is about me. You can notice that the H2 is smaller than the H1, and this is just my name is Joshua. This is not my real name. I just using this name. I'm currently learning web development. You can see that the web development is actually bolded because we use the strong tag on farmer code plus to emphasize on the text YouTube channel. So this is also, we are trying to wrap everything together. We can also add more content to this. So let me go ahead to add more content so that you can have more something to keep practicing about. So I'll add another section. Let's say let the section be about my hobbies or my skill. Okay, so I added on the H2 and I named that my goals, and I'm adding some text to the paragraph tag and to show my goals on this learning journey is to be competent in web. Okay, let's use the Mac formatting tag is to be competent in software, in web development. Okay, so always remember to save, Ctrl S, and we'll see how this comes up again. So we can just keep adding more content. This is just a little illustration, putting up everything we've learned together. Remember your basic structure with HTML. Remember to always add your title. Remember that everything you want to display on your browser we have to be within the body tag. And since we learned about headings and paragraphs and formatting tags, we are just using few of them. We've used our H1, we've used our H2, we've used our paragraph. Remember that everything, if you noticed, our formatting tag is within our paragraph. This is our formatting tag is within our paragraph because we want it to be within the paragraph section. So as we keep going further in the course, keep going further in this tutorial, we keep learning more and more things. So this is just the basics. So I'll give a little assignment or practice that you can use to practice at your own end. So let's see how this finally looks on the system, and then we'll wrap up today's tutorial. Okay, as you can see, we now have another section showing my goals. My goals on this learning journey is to be competent in web development. Because we use the Mac formatting tag, is actually marked over here. So you can play around all of the formatting tag we have learned so far. And if like this is a simple way of structuring your website. It's looking like this now because we're not starting adding stylings and functionality. So this is just the basic. Once we've gotten the basic, we'll run along to learn the stylings and functionalities. But for now, we're going to stop here, and I will give you something to practice with. Okay, so for the practice, this is just to for you to practice. So the task is for you to create a HTML file, that is, create and appropriately save the file name, then code the basic structure of the HTML file, starting with your doc type, then add an appropriate title. So that your title is dependent on what you want your website to be about, and then code your web page with at least 3 sections. What we did in the tutorial is 2 sections, but play around with up to 3 sections, and then use headings, then add some paragraphs, and then play around with some of the text formatting tags. And if there is any challenges or there's something you would like to share, you can also drop it in the comment section and they'll discuss more about it. So thank you so much for staying with me on today's tutorial. We'll continue in our next class.